that is just a straight up poke comp here. Assuming the Jace is going to go mid and is going to go damage here with Ezreal, Nidalee, and the Jace. And I kind of like that. And in that light, the Rel does feel a lot better, right? Because if you just have the Zyra, you can run into some issues. Obviously, you have the Ashe Arrow, but with the Gragas as well, not only a Doran classic, but also adding even more dive. I'm kind of loving both these comp Veldas. We have on one side a lot of upfront damage, a lot of burst, and a lot of engage for T1. And then DPLUS, especially if you can kind of get that Jace Nidalee combo rolling, the early objectives should be really hard for T1 to contest.
Got a last second swap.
I think this makes more sense.
Yeah.
And this also most likely means that it's not tank Jace, which with this draft, I really hope so.
No, he's just going for Doran. But guys, let's do it. Let's jump onto the rip for game number 1. Here we go, game number 1, and already DK are getting into it here. They have tons of poke. It is a poke comp, as you mentioned before, with Nidalee and Jace and Ezreal.
Oh, he's going phase rush. You know what that means, Veldas? We are safe
For this game.
Yes. Well, I mean, no, it's fearless. We're safe for the day.
Oh yeah, it's true.
Woo!
Hey, we're safe.
Barrel,
no more tank Jace.
Barrel
just in my nightmares
is on the
instead.
ward. Oh god.
Oh, this is so Barrel.
It's so Barrel to just die.
He's just gonna die, Steve. This is. He might get away actually, but Aiming is gonna have to flash, and he's being followed here. So even if he doesn't die, Aiming's gonna pay for his sins, which also happens with Barrel. So yeah, going a bit too deep, and now you've got Aiming with no flash in the bot lane. Showmaker getting pretty aggressive here in the mid lane against Faker.
Carry out already out on the map is Aiming.
I mean, he is arcane shifting into Guma, who's got his Q available, but it doesn't seem to matter. The W lands, and Aiming just autos him to death. A straight up solo kill goes to Aiming.
Crucially, Guma hadn't backed yet because of when the play happened. Woo! Hadn't actually spent his money.
Challenge. Obviously, Yone pretty good at trading, but the Jace, they're actually going for a dive in 2025 in my LCK. And Jiu just cleanly flashes away and survives beautifully.
Eats the gank without too much issues. Lucid doesn't hit that spear. He's trying to look for something on Ona, but didn't really want to risk it. One more spear hitting though, and they might actually use that. And they have mid prio. They could play it.
Oh,
Barrel.
Guma no flash. Guma in a lot of trouble here. He's trying to kite it out, but there's 3 members of DK chasing him down, and Shivu will be given the kill. Pretty huge for DK here.
That's a lot of faith. There's a sole AP Nidalee on the team. That champion loves to snowball,
but he's not having a fun time in mid. Showmaker actually is doing a great job of winning this lane.
This is what I want out of my DK versus T1 Veldas. This is like is this the game where it happens?
Rune.
Can we
wait, what's the name again?
Is it real?
Ruinous?
Ruinous? Nah, there's no way.
It's not happening.
There's not. No. Unless. What if we get a 5v5 for yes. Just pummeling them as Shield.
Oh, here we go. Gonna get that ult on a Faker. Faker, there's nowhere for him to go as he flashes in front of the ult. Oh, the spear just barely gonna go wide. Looking for the dive, Shiu. Gotta be careful. Here comes the Ezreal ult. Faker gets away. Unless owner can say something about it, but not looking likely at this point in time.
I'm glad to report that Shiu does not seem like he's playing scared, as you posited that question earlier. Veldas for T1, giving up these grubs. Not going to be the end, but it does mean that the pushing power of DK going to be really obnoxious to play into. First turret, I think we have 3 to 4 plates in bot lane, 5 to 4 in mid, and then 5 to 3 in favor of DK towards the top half of the map is Lucid. Ooh, might have to use sums here.
Yeah, this is rough. Flash forward from Showmaker ahead of time, gives him the thumbs up. He is sending a message on this Jace tonight. He was dominating the lane. Now he gets a kill on Guma, who's 1 and 3 on this Ashe. Everything's turning up DK so far.
Owner gonna use all this showing towards the top side of the map as an opportunity as in they go.
I mean, you're ulting in onto Leona. She was able to dodge away from that. Faker in a lot of trouble. They'll just wait for his soul to turn back. There's the stun, and Xiu picks up his second kill of the night.
Lucid's here. Carrier's dead.
Yeah, Carrier's dead. I mean, there's just no way to get away from this one. You see, he is being corralled in between the turret and the wall, and it really just comes down to who's going to get the kill. And it looks like it will be Lucid who does pick it up. Bunch of damage goes in, but that'll be first turret as well, given over to DPLUS Kia.
And that is 6 grubs going over. First turret blood being taken. And now DK are looking good for those feats. But the solo lanes are getting more and more fed, and Lucid picking up the kill is big as well. He is the sole AP source. Or he's getting very close rather to his second item. Kuma just now hitting that blade. But the turrets are just, again, it's 6 grubs, there's a Jace, and an Ezreal. Like, these turrets are gonna get shredded like paper, and feels like a formality before DK also picks up Herald.
I don't even know if that was going to hit him, but Owner is still dead. Like, he's not getting away from this champion. The arrow is going to land, and they do have a lot of the team over here, but the damage is so little, so sparse, and Xiu is just flashing and dashing his way to safety. He is just running circles around T1 right now.
Herald doesn't even die!
They can't do anything to this kid. Meanwhile, Lucid's just soloing the Rift Herald. So that's feats of strength.
Felt like that shouldn't have been thrown, but from this position, every game that we see with the Herald coming down, now they should be able to get at least 2 charger, possibly even the second turret. I don't think there's a lot that T1 can do. They're going to have to rely on DK making a huge mistake.
Yeah, I mean, you're hoping that, you know, maybe someone like Aiming Arcane shifts in, or perhaps Xiu makes a mistake because he's a rookie. This is going to be pretty interesting. He's going to just...
He's getting question mark pinged by his own team, or he did it himself. I'm not sure.
I mean, he runs it towards mid. Maybe he gets a charge there.
Well,
no?
Nope.
Okay.
I do know that that was not intentional.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a safe conclusion to draw.
So, anyway, Xiu's having a great game so far. There's one nice control ward in this brush, but you know Beryl, he's going to challenge that. He's got his team behind him as well, at least this time.
Yeah, we saw the blue ward used there. Doran trying to get some gold into the good people of T1 as there we go. Going to start at the objective now. But I gotta imagine they're looking to turn, and we can see them already. They're not really going for this.
Yeah, you can see for T1, they're like, well, somebody's got to do something. We have to stop this, otherwise we're probably just going to lose anyway. TP is coming in from Doran. He's got to be the bodyguard. He is level 14 and decently tanky.
Oh, they're committing. This could be the moment.
There's the barrel. They got to take out a Leona of all champs, but instead the focus comes down onto Otacon. They take it, and now they've got the respawns coming in. And yeah, Xiu, he's gonna go in his respawn. Everybody on the side of T1 is just flashing away. And it was actually Beryl that respawned. The rest of them were just sending it. You know, they got the buff and they were head over heels going in.
I'm pretty sure that Xiu TP'd before Otacon was down. He's like, it's fine, they'll get it.
Area is putting his jacket on.
Yeah, no, this game is done. Come on, they got the buff.
It's like, all right, guys, anyway, go next.
It's just game 1, but game 1 is a blowout, Valdez.
Yeah.
Xiu, does he? I'm like, whenever the buff is up, we still have a minute 50 left. You're like, just do it. It's fine.
Yeah, you're not killing this guy anyway. DK, they're just going to send it right down mid. They're not a team that's going to rotate towards bot. They don't even have a bot wave, so not really an option here. They want to dive these turrets if possible. Keria looking for the engage. He just dies instead. Guma is going to cleanse away from this one as Beryl. He does not have the respawn. And he's going to go in instead and look to set up a kill. And he's going to live until he dies 2 seconds later.
He didn't have the buff. He already died. Beryl, no!
It's okay. Xiu, very nice ult. Very nice angle there onto Owner. And DK, they've had enough of this game. They're putting on their jackets as well, figuratively. They want out of this one. They want to end T1 here in 23 minutes. They don't have a wave. Oh, they do, actually. There was like one little minion in there, and that might just do it, guys. FAKER left alone. They love, yep, they're going to take him down. The damage is way too much, and DK going to stomp T1 in 23 minutes in game number 1.
That's a debut position together. Showmaker having a bit of a giggle. Oh, is it? I feel like he's giggling too much for it to be way into the victor.
Maybe Syndra? Xerath.
That will make sense.
I mean, beat him with the long range. There you go. And now, so this pick, I feel like, yeah, okay, you pick it against the victor in mid.
Okay, but
with the rest of the comp, though?
Yeah, okay, but I agree. I don't actually think this works into the comp at all. But how do they get on top of him? Like, how do they reach Showmaker?
Cassante flank?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
that's about it. I don't think they really have great ways to get on top of this. What I assume will be a big threat if Showmaker can maintain a level of play. It does kind of a lot more all-rounded.
Game 2 begins right now. Alrighty, here we go. Will we see First Blood happen at the level 1 again? Probably unlikely, although Barrel is going pretty deep into the jungle. They are not on the blue side of the jungle. T1, they went for their own invade, got a couple of deep wards. One in the lane as well. They want to see what this lane swap is going to look like, if it will happen, and it does look like it will happen. As DK are sending their bot lane to the top lane.
See how long she waits to walk over? Because we have seen that specific ward a bunch of times before. We see even T1 actually ping the same location there. Saw a vision ping there. There is no vision, but they do not know that. Still playing accordingly, and it makes sense. I feel like with champions like Victor, it always feels like a Cold War race for who can have the most range. And outside of Hui, Xerath is basically the poster for
happening throughout all of this. They're actually fighting right now, aiming. Does he have Valkyrie? Probably not.
Doesn't.
If the Q hits, I think he would have been forced to flash, but not going to happen. And Ocean Drake goes over to T1. Stayed here, framing quite nice. As it is pushing into him, he's denying a lot of CS from Doran, in this case, his lane opponents, Corki versus Cassante. But yeah, all the grubs
play the game, and it looks like the feet, or at least this one feat, it's just going to get given over. They're not going to bother.
Yeah. You know, it's nice to deny the grubs as well. I don't think they really had a chance to deny it here. The flash engage Renata, shocker, does not work out. But I was going to say maybe he got the flash out of someone, but he didn't even.
It's for Cotton and Core.
Yeah, so, yeah. Nice try, Carrier. Good effort. Good effort.
That was a rumble. Maybe this shed some light on why the Braum wasn't picked.
They had enough of engage Braum.
Yeah. So now, T1, first feet already in the pocket. Wukong and Rakan are quite good at going in, baiting out, and then weaving in and out of the fight again. That's a lot of damage.
Yeah, Lucid, though, is here. They're turning this one around. It was a bait all along. First blood given over to Lucid, and they want a bit more. Barrel getting pretty low. Owner, he says, this is my kill, but Barrel's going to get away. Meanwhile, we got the bailout here. Lucid looks like he will get the kill and deny the bailout. Can he actually survive, too? That would be insane. They all survive after that. Unbelievable.
Never will reach 60% plays all the time, Valdez, as not only do they get the first blood, but they get 2 kills on the Wukong.
Yeah, it's Trinity Force done. He is...
Not bad.
Yeah, this is getting pretty crazy.
If they get first turbot here, though, the first blood doesn't really matter. It looks like that is going to be the case.
I mean, they're going to dive Doran here, but he is Cassante. Doesn't matter. The damage, yes, it is stacking, but first turret blood goes to T1, so they get the feats of strength on their side.
Depends on what happens to Dragon here, because I think T1 takes that. The boots are strong, but if DK then also answer with a turret of themselves and get Dragon because Doran isn't there, Doran is going to be fine, right? He's going to come back up in about 10 seconds, has his teleport available. So I'd say that's still a T1 favorite trade just because of the fact that it opens up boots. And unlike last game, I also don't feel like they had to kind of weather the storm against the poke. Well, kind of played out as half poke, half. We saw a lot of spears, but with the solo laners getting fed, it was not just that. But this time around, they have a lot of team fighting power. I don't know though. DK, they're coming in.
Trying to snipe out Guma here. It's not really doing much. That equalizer was pretty bad from CU. It's just missing everyone. Did not inspire much joy. And chains coming in, but will be cleansed off. Nice little McHale's. Bit of damage coming in as he's pulled towards the guys he's burning. Got to be careful with that one, as now Owner in a lot of trouble. Has to go back in looking for the reset, and he will be taken out. But he will go down himself. So 1 for 1, but your T1, I mean, you get the Mountain Drake. A bit of range with the Xerath here. They're trying to siege onto this mid turret and get a bit more, as actually maybe even an engage here, but instead it's just Cassante. And the engage doesn't happen. Beryl says, better luck next time.
Got that first, meant that he could cleanse Shiu, and then Keria could have definitely used his Renata ult earlier. I think that could have actually saved Owner because they just needed a bit more time to actually get the reset. And it is with Xin Zhao, if you can get into a longer fight with your heal on your passive as well as Sundered Sky, you can really survive a lot. So instead is going to be, I think, a DK favorite trade. If you take another look, the ults, pretty bad here from DK. Yeah. Neither of them really does anything.
Oh, he actually hit Keria with 1 tick.
Yeah, exactly. And then T1, you got the Dragon. Like, they use a bunch of their cooldowns, and I think they should take it and leave it at that, but that's not the case.
Oh, Faker in a bit of trouble. He does have Keria nearby, though, as the Wukong doing a decent amount of damage with the fedness he got early on, but Faker is going to live, and now the rest of T1 comes over the top. Beryl will be taken out in essentially a 4v1. The rest of DK just backed away from that play.
To bring us to a game number 3. Doran might be in some trouble here, but even if he ends up going down, I don't think it means too much.
Oh, Shiu trying to beat him into this fight. Doran, oh, this time it's a nice equalizer. He's burning the whole way through, but it's Cassante. Here comes Lucid, and he kind of messes up the angle. Doran's just gonna maybe run this one off aiming. No, not again. He's gonna flash forward, and he's gonna bait Lucid into it. Lucid is so dead. As eventually he does be taken out, as T1, they get a big win in that pick, and now they'll look for Otacon.
And that's a Doran special right there! I thought he was dead. Clearly DK thought he was dead as well. And the overchase ends up costing them dearly, as now T1. Not only did they get those kills, but also Shiu doesn't have ults. As Otacon feels like it might be a done deal. Doran's still alive. We'll see if Showmaker and his buddies can turn the tide, but with the zone control, I don't think that's happening.
He's going to just have to try to get in there and go for the steal. They are looking to take out Guma, but he's just not that weak. And now he's got the buff. The rest of T1 thinking about going in. They're just going to back away from this one. Actually, a TP from Faker will be denied, so kind of odd positioning there, but he's still gonna back away. And T1 get away with the buff, and we'll look for another push.
Really big. And yeah, DK, I was about to say, you gotta hightail it towards that Dragon. You cannot give away the Mountain Soul. Shiu doesn't have his TP available, but neither does anyone on T1 have TP. Flash W connects. And now they might lose Soul for that, and that would bring us to, I think, almost guaranteed game number 3, VODS.
Yeah, I'll have to wait and see how this one does play out. It's still at least an even gold state, so maybe there's a fight that DK can take. Lucid, though, spotted on the flank. And
get the dragon. The problem is that you don't actually kill anyone, but there's no TPs. I think T1 should just send it.
I mean, you've got the buff, right? You've got the res. Lucid spotted. He's ulted away. He's not able to get in range. They don't even commit to this one, DK. As, yeah, just going to McHale's the slow off, and DK back out of that. So Mountain Soul over to T1. No Baron, and I mean, at least for DK, maybe you can kind of just wait out the timing as Faker's just kind of wandering into the jungle. He's like, I will use this. I'm using it, guys. Please take me down.
I love how DK is just like, no. Not doing it, which...
Please get...
Well, they still get stuff for taking him down. As long as you don't trade kills, I think you still should.
Yeah, 100 gold.
Yeah. That's still 100 gold if you don't...
Sure. Yeah. T1 in this case.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, okay.
DK not doing a lot of thinking. A lot of instinctual reacting, that's the word. Barrel spots them and then just runs away. You don't need the Xayah. You can just play Corki with Rakan. T1 going for T1 Baron, just going to start it up on Vision and say, okay, come at us. And what are you going to do about it? Keria is getting chunked by this Corki, but now with the TP coming in, they want to turn around and run away. Aiming in a rough spot. Lucid goes for the ult, but they take T1 off the Baron. Keria is still pretty low, but Lucid did use this ultimate ability, so did Beryl. So still 5 ults here for T1. And to be honest, I mean, they might just start it up again. They have total control of this area of the map, so really the onus is on DK to try to check it.
But they can also keep trading health bars, quote unquote, because they have the shield. So you can see, as long as you use that, it's going to be really hard to win. There's another TP, this time it's Faker.
I mean, the flanking Victor, not as crazy, but Owner's getting in there. He's really making this happen, as now the flanking Victor trying to burst down Showmaker, and that he will with the help of Guma. They get a couple of kills, and Guma will survive as well. And so I guess that flanking Victor was pretty good after all. And Lucid,
can he even kill Doran? Yes, ult. Oh no, sorry, his ult just timed out.
Yeah, I guess he's got Corki. Okay, that's a nice little pick. Doran's just going to get picked for free.
Yeah, he has Cleaver. Good enough. Corki is his passive. They're able to get through him. That was definitely one of the most proactive Victor plays I've ever seen. Do appreciate that. TPing in, flashing over the call, getting the Mega Storm, and they'll get Baron, but who cares? They further solidify the gold lead. Take a bunch of crucial cooldowns.
Everybody was like, okay, kill Showmaker, he's out of position, he has no flash. So nicely done by Guma and Faker there.
T1 clearly tightened it up after game number 1. The only way they lose is if they... Oh my god.
Nice equalizer, but that's a Xinjiao. So not really amounting to too much. See you now in a really rough spot. Just totally caught up. Barrel as well just joins him. He says, I won't let you go down alone. Lucid just spinning in the back line. As meanwhile, Doran is just diving. He is Cassante. He's like, okay, turret changes, whatever. And he's going to go down to it, actually. Owner, as well, in a bit of trouble here. Ult's coming down, and actually he's totally fine. The rest of the team, T1, does come in and clean him up. There's the ace. And T1 feeling pretty good about their situation here, looking for Elder.
As I was about to say, they're going to be picked up. I guess they waited as long as possible for the respawn. Or I'm not sure if it was the respawn or if they just want to have the buff for as long as possible to guarantee Baron, and that's because this is either about to be the funniest story for DK fans about how I did the classic DK thing of stomping game 1, doing a weird pick game 2, and then losing the series.
Yeah.
Or they finally turn it around. And for T1, if they do end up winning, it's the classic lose game 1, win the next 2.
Yeah, or like win game 1 and then fool around in game 2 and then win game 3.
Yeah.
And like they do, both teams do this all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like we come into every new year and we're like, new team, new players, new us. No, it's exactly the same.
Oh, nothing ever changes. As TP comes in, And all that's left standing is the Nexus, and I don't think it's going to be for very long, VODS.
Yeah. At this point, Exodia acquired. You've got so much poke with Varus and Victor. And Curry's just going to send an ult in, knowing that they're going to have to stop them on these turrets, but they're not going to stop anything except themselves, as Doran will go down, so they got him, and that's about it. That's a gigantic storm, and he's actually going to be sniped there, as down will go the Nexus. It is a Quadra for Guma, and there you go. T1 will take down game 2.
I like Braum. I don't like this team comp, though. I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean,
because you have part dive, part peel back. As Sion provides a little bit of space, as Bard makes a ton of sense. I feel Bard's really good into the Jinx specifically because she doesn't have an easy way to get out of the ultimate outside of the flash. I think T1's going to be feeling amazing. Like, these are basically full comfort across the board. The composition has a good spread of damage. Team fighting solid. And for DK, it does yet again feel like, is it Showmaker or Lucid, early 2v2 or bust? And I guess aiming can carry, but aiming on Jinx, I have to see it before I believe it, VODS. Even with the Braum to back them up, even with the front line, she will want a tank as well. I think T1 is going to be feeling pretty good with this one.
Yeah, it plays out after this draft as we hop into the Rift for game number 3. All right, off we go. And, well, one thing you've got this Braum, and he's very good at level 1. So they're just going to run into the enemy jungle. And this time, probably not going to get first blooded, like we saw in game 1.
Lane swap to come through does make sense. Jhin and Bard able to apply a ton of pressure in the 2v2. And Jinx just wants to get to, at the very least, an item if you really do anything. Obviously, you'd also much rather be a Sion. And here you see as well, both top laners are also aware that this is the standard ward placement. Because if Shiwa gets Dove, which again, a lot harder than it used to be, he's Sion. He's going to be able to get the wave. We've seen actually T1 CL, and I think it was Humble Life as well, pulling out a lot of Sion lane swap strats where you use the Sion and just eventually send him to a certain death just that you can maximize the amount of...
Let's see if they've got it. Can Poppy do it in 2025? That was a nice stun to stop the Q on the wave. A bit of damage comes in. Owner, though, not quite able to tank it up, but there it is, the flash and the 4th shot from Guma. Will get the kill on the Shu, who, as you mentioned before, just going to farm up the wave. Meanwhile, Doran just getting zoned out of his wave, not going to be taken down, but T1 do get first blood and that first feat of strength. And, I mean, he doesn't have flash this time, right? But a bit of damage comes in. They're not 100% committing just yet, but the Q's going to hit 2. But now that's the Q down. Owner going to eat a turret shot, and Sion doesn't really have a lot of damage to trade back. They're just kind of playing with the Sion underneath this turret. The Q is pretty good, but it's not good enough. And Guma picks up a 2nd kill.
4 times, yeah.
Like, Peanut always does that to the rookies. He's like, yep, gotta show them the way it goes here in the LCK.
The other cost of this is that Owner is severely under-leveled. He's about half a level down on Lucid. So there could be an opportunity to make a play here for DK. Don't know about Lucid just yet, but yeah, I think they should just dip. Just deny the initial grub. Make sure that they don't get free, so they don't get the feat. Just going to leave it at that, which I think is definitely the right call. Even with Faker's ult being available there, trying to play into an Ahri at level 6, it's not really a risk that you have to take.
Too deep, we don't have to go too crazy, but certainly this is something that Guma has played many a time and is very comfortable on, as we do have the root here onto Beryl. He is totally caught. It might be a 3rd for Guma. Instead, they'll just give that one to Faker. You know, Guma missed the third shot, so Faker's like, yeah, now I deserve it. I'll take it down. But more importantly than the pick on a barrel, it just means a free dragon here for T1. And they're really stacking up some of these early wins for their team right now.
Also takes, oh, that's good actually. Owner doesn't have smite, so if that splash damage could have actually realistically taken it, not going to be the case. This also means that, again, an opportunity to fight is being denied. You want to shut that down. Between the Bard ult, between Faker going for a big swoop, Owner getting on the back line, Doran flanks on the Jack, so this skirmish is going to be a big one for DK, and I think T1 might also opt to just let it go.
I mean, Faker's still in top lane. He could TP if they really wanted to take it like immediately, but it does look like they're just going to give this one away. DK will pick up 5 grubs. So at least they've got that, but they're not the team that has a Jax in a side lane, you know? They're not the team that has a very powerful...
They were just taken as an opportunity to... Uh-oh.
Okay, well, we're going extremely deep for this one. It still works, though. It's still Ibai. The question is, can they trade back on this? Is the flash ult from Owner? It's not going to do a whole lot, but keeping Lucid around. Barrel in a rough spot, but he's Braum, and now Perry is going to go down. And all of a sudden, DK begins to win this fight. Doran gets ulted by Shiu, who comes out of left field, essentially. And now they're going to get the first turret.
How the hell did that work? They went to Narnia and back, and this play still worked out.
Just kill Faker and force T1 to overfight, I guess. I gotta see this replay because Owner like flashed the wall. He really wanted to keep them around. He flashed the wall, he ulted them to try to keep them in place, but already Lucid had flashed away and it was only Braum. And they're like, we don't want to kill Braum. And then they just expend everything to go way too deep. And DK, now this game has gotten a lot more interesting. Because, you know, it kind of felt like T1, they were slowly but surely winning the early game. It looked a little bit like game 2, you know, they're getting all the objectives. Nice timing there, actually.
What?
But Shiu flashed in the wall! This guy is insane. And, you know, with Showmaker coming up, nice charm. Bit of damage in, the Malignus ticking, but okay. Engage Braum. Barrel getting in, the rest of the team joining in. DK going crazy. What are they doing? I don't know.
Not a lot.
Giving a free turret to Doran? Question mark?
Yeah, Shiu is indeed kind of crazy. That was a sequence of plays, but it was all for the greater good. If they get a kill there as well, plus the turret, I think they're going to be feeling a lot better, because now they did invest a good amount. Showmaker's TP. The duo of Lucid and Showmaker, and Shiu should create so much space that as long as he gets anything going with the movement speed, maybe it can be a bigger impact in fights than we initially thought, because T1 is just going to be the one playing on the back foot. And in these few fights that has been the case. Now, feats are dead even. We are one objective away for either team. It's going to be the Dragon in about a minute, and I think that might be where the game ends up. Not necessarily decided with how it's been going thus far, but... Charm.
Stepped on the chompers. There's the charm. Lucid just totally wide on that one, and he might get punished for it. Everybody's flashing away now. Aiming, nearly getting sniped there with third bullet, but he will just barely get away.
To expend anything, right? The only thing T1 used there was ult cooldowns, which they will all have available back when the fight starts.
That's a charm. That's a Rift Herald, and yeah, Owner's right there to try to punish it. Barrel in a bit of trouble, but he is Braum. And now Lucid, ooh, if the Q hits, I mean, you got rockets flying, you press an R button, but Guma still has
That's 2 ults.
His flash.
Yeah, that's both Aiming's and Showmaker's ult now used. Oh, good charm, but yeah, T1 is taking control of this pit. And this does feel like DK, they can choose not to fight here. It's not soul, it's just soul point. But you're still going to be feeling horrible about it. Look at the vision that's being set up here by T1. I feel like you can just never approach her if you're DK. Entire jungle is lit up. Still might be able to gain entrance through the river, but they're going to have to get a crazy catch to make it work. The zoom in there on both the Zap and the Charm, not going to connect. What about Lucid? That's a poppy.
If you pick the right target, maybe? Yeah, and you gotta hope that owner's not ready.
Are we just gonna have Shield run in? Is that what this is going to devolve into? I could see it.
Go engage you.
Sums are available. Owner doesn't have his ultimate crucially, so keeping Lucid out of the pit might be hard. Doran on the flank does get spotted.
All right, let's see how it goes. Lucid looking for the flash. Can he get it? Yes, he will! Lucid picks it up, denies the dragon. Now they're turning on a Doran, and the Counter-Strike can only do so much. He gets extremely low, and the Rocket gets the reset! In goes aiming, he is chasing them down. He's got a frontline, very nice ult here from FAKER, but it's not enough. It will just block the door, but Keria is not long for the world either. It is a massacre. T1 are just running away. They lose the dragon, they lose the feats of strength, and DK, they find all the angles.
Everything goes wrong there, Valdez. If you get the dragon, you give up the kills. I think you say worth. Getting Soul Point, Mountain, that's going to feel amazing against the upfront burst of this comp. Are they going to get Otacon as well? Oh my. They have 2 TPs. FAKER's up in 5, but I don't think he's going to be in time. They're going to get that as well.
Yeah. And just like that, you were talking about the dragon being the game
buff.
Said before, you know, just get some resets, get a dive going. There's really not much that T1 can do to stop this. Maybe use the Bard ult to buy some time. I'm not sure, because DK are just begging T1 to step up to give any angle at all. And Barrel's just going to hold up the door. Lucid will get away and not expend his Otacon buff.
Ideally, you just want to get an R off, and then if you die, it's, who cares? Might go for it here.
I don't know if he gets his R off, though, as, yeah, he's rooted in well, yeah, okay. There's the revive. In goes you. Very nice engage, actually, but the follow-up is non-existent. Bit of damage on Aguma, though. They got Guma, and that is the most important part, as everybody else just gonna maybe go down. Owner nearly burning. Not gonna happen, so they got Guma.
As well, it looks like next. So.
Leandre's Void should be, he's going to be the guy that's chewing through it. Looking for Guma here. He is going to be caught for now. Flashes the Poppy ult, just gets away from it entirely. Lucid, you can always rely on this guy, and down will go the T180 carry. Lucid, I just said we can rely on you. Please don't just immediately die. Okay, he's just dead. And Showmaker probably did as well. There you go, T1, a couple of big picks. And Baron is about to spawn.
T1, smell a moment of weakness and go in.
Just to pick on Guma was great. But DK can't help but...
He wasn't even in bot lane. He was running through the T1 jungle looking for the flank. That's the only reason
drifting!
That's the only reason he was in that position at all. That's just...
Who does that?
This guy is a madman.
Okay, TP is forced. This is the moment. T1 looking for a collapse.
Oh, Bardal gonna miss. And I think for DK, all you gotta do is find Guma. The issue, though, is if you get Guma, like, yeah, you got a sums and everything, but as you mentioned before, it's really FAKER and Doran who are kind of the hyper carries in this comp. So you can't expend everything to get Guma.
You see as well the poke actually...
Duel with FAKER. They're just gonna go for their own T1 Baron. This is a DK Baron, but now there is vision.
No flank this time. You imagine that DK is going to be looking for the turn.
We'll see how it goes. Doran going very far forward into the Braum. As they get the lockdown there on a Doran, and that frontline owners just burst 100 to 0. That's Guma's doing some nice work, but there is the ult from FAKER. Gets him, but look at aiming. He's totally untouched the entire time. Aiming gets the reset. Guma is alone, and he is dead. And there you go, DK take a huge fight.
They might look for the end. It's only Doran alive. There is a wave. I don't think that they can, but we'll see.
Yeah, it looks like they are still contemplating as well. Shiu ended up going down in that extended fight as well. They, at the very least, will be able to get the inhib. We'll see if they're actually choosing to push on. Can also, and I think should back off, get that dragon. Looks like that's going to be the case here instead. Get the inhib, but what a fight win there.
Control of these objectives like T1 do not. There's not a lot of good ways to get his flash. really, Carrier's got to like snipe him with this Bard ult. Otherwise,
But
it's got to be Faker. But if he's
Lucid just waiting, biding his time. T1, dare I say T1 Baron?
yeah, they're going to start it. I mean, they've got a lot of damage with the Azir especially. They've got Jhin very safe positioning here. DPSing literally with his ult. Beryl is though here in the front line, and there goes the Jax! And the smite is early from Owner! It's desperation for T1! Down goes the Jax. Will T1 get away? Oh, the charm hits Faker! The max range! Did they go too deep though is the question. There's the GA though for the Vi. I think it's enough here for DK. They get a couple of kills. They get an excited Jinx. And they want this game. They want this series right here, right now.
No one saw it but Atlas, but we are on the verge of a DK win.
Oh, Beryl. The engaged Braum.
The flash to Q.
Guma doesn't even flash or cleanse, but I don't think it matters. The memes aside, it looks like DK, they should be able to take it down. Guma can't clear the waves, especially not on Jhin. Keria, they take down the Vi, and that is all they will get as D plus Kia takes the 2-1 victory over T1 tonight. And they get another win here for Group Elder.